At my school, a bathroom was just shut down because a kid drew too many peni on the walls. I think you're the only ones who can answer the pressing question. How many penises must be drawn in a high school bathroom for it to be shut down? Is there a certain limit you can have before it gets to be too much? What is the proper punishment for this crime? That's from In Distress in Indiana. And congratulations on finding a question that it is exactly at our skill level. This is exactly where we are qualified to operate.
Let's just go down the line. 0, no, there's no problem. 1 penis. Normal. This is one of the worst options, I feel, because people are gonna be curious about it. If maybe they haven't taken health class yet and they don't know what's going on there. They don't know what that thing is.
Also, in this regard, I will say in this circumstance, size does matter.
Yeah.
1 giant penis drawn on the wall.
Sure.
I want to be careful for this discussion that we don't get into the question of size, because the person asked for a number, and I feel like we can arrive at the number.
Absolutely.
If we bring size into it scientifically. So here's what I'll say. Starting from 0, that one's easy.
Can we just establish, so let's use just frame of reference for size. Big enough to see.
Big enough to see.
Big enough to see.
This is not a Where's Waldo hidden penis.
You would not miss it. If you, on a regular bathroom visit, you'll
clock it. Yeah.
Okay.
But small enough that you don't go like, wow, that's a big picture of a penis.
Wow. Not a mural.
So here's what I would say.
Right, exactly.
First one is fine, because the first one you have plausible deniability. First one you can say that's not a penis.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I'll also say this. First one is like, that could have been a situation where someone sat down in the stall with no intent of drawing a penis, but looked around and was like, there's no penis doodle anywhere. So I guess I'll put one on here.
Yeah.
Compulsory.
Just to be scientific about this, I'm going to ask a question that I don't even know needs asking. This is assuming testicles are present as well, right? That when you're drawing it.
Trav, I love you so much, pal. Have you ever seen that before? Have you ever just seen a shaft doodle, pal? With that, the balls are the reason.
No, this is what I'm saying.
What I'm saying, Travis, is that a lot of the time a penis
don't
drawing.
Ask a question you don't want an answer to.
Okay,
Trav. Let him answer you.
A lot of the time, a penis drawing starts because you start drawing something and you're like, that looks like balls,
right?
And then you do the rest of it based off of that. The idea that someone would draw just shaft and then would be like done is wild. That's never happened in the history of humankind. So
I just don't want us to get too far down the road of speaking about it in the specific terms of a penis and not including a unit.
The first one is actually the hardest one to get past. Like, excuse me.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's one of the worst options because
it's one of the worst ones, but it is like you're not going to shut it down for one, right?
Yes, no, correct. I don't think you will.
Okay.
Now, I do think it's more likely that you would see standalone.
So are we
balls.
staying on 1? I just want to be clear. Are we still on 1, or did
I just want to explore the possibility of standalone balls drawings over standalone shaft drawings? I think that would be much more commonplace, but really you gotta have,
and not germane to the discussion, which is already protracted.
2 is like totally inoffensive to me. If I see 2, it's like, okay.
It almost blends in with the geometry. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's almost like the textures that they designed for this bathroom had 2
that's
penises.
Cool.
And it's kind of nice because now they're not lonely.
You do think that. Nice. They have, look at those friends, you think. And then you spend the rest of your toilet time thinking about your friends. And that's
I would
cool.
say like 2 and 3, not to like lump this together, but like 2 and 3, I appreciate because it removes from me the pressure to go clean up the 1. Yeah. If there's 1, there's the stress of like, I should really get the magic eraser and clean that up. Now, if I see 3, I'm like, oh God, it's a bathroom. You know?
When I see 3, though, I assume they're gossiping, though, and that is that gets to be a little distracting.
For me, when I see 3, I have the thought, starting to be a lot of penises in here. I have the thought of like,
so 3 is your life.
3 is not the cap.
Hot Ones territory. 3 is like, okay.
I'm not going to tear down the stall and smash the toilet for 3, but I will have the thought, I hope this doesn't go any farther because
that is a tipping point, though. Because here's the thing. Think about that gum wall, you know, I think it's in, San Francisco, Seattle, the gum wall at the market.
Yeah.
If you put 1 piece of gum on there, someone's just defaced that wall. 2 pieces of gum. Okay, now, but after 3, it's starting to be a thing now.
Guys, this is so, The important work that this show does is it finds truths that are truths that we didn't know are here.
Yes.
Because, guys, I'm thinking about 4 penises in a bathroom, and I'm going ape shit.
Yeah.
No,
Here's what I'll say.
like, the lunatics are running the asylum.
Yeah.
We are in absolute shutdown mode.
This is why it must be shut down, too. After 3, the tipping point from 3 to 4, students are now leaving to go to the bathroom just to add another penis to the wall.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a joke now.
If there's 4 on the wall, there's not going to be 4 on the wall for very long.
Yeah.
That's why I will say, if you ever see a bathroom stall with 4 penises drawn on the wall, enjoy it, buddy, because someone's going to get up there and make it 5 real soon, and then 6,
4 on the
and
wall,
then 7.
grades start to fall. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
So
4,
if you see 3, that's not too many, but you need to clean then before 4 gets there.
Now this is interesting, guys. Here's
Yeah.
what I've discovered. I'm more comfortable with 5.
Whoa.
Because it feels like 5 has reached a sort of pagan stabilizing
balance?
power. Right?
Sure.
It feels like there's a sort of like pagan energy that is
Yeah.
being summoned by the sort of like de facto pentagram drawn by 5.
Now, this
5
is-
feels like
yes.
in harmony with nature. And it feels like
That's
if
the
we could
only
just
one-
get to 5 and stabilize,
That's
we'll
it.
be okay.
It's the only number post 3 that is like, okay, it's like 1, cool, 2, friends, 3, 4, too much, 5,
Now,
gentle pagan energy, 6 through infinity,
Too
that's
many.
too many dicks,
if
dude.
the 5 penis units have been drawn 4 side by side, standing up and down, and then 1 drawn across as a slash mark, now we know that's a
yeah.
complete unit.
Well,
of
we can't even talk
penises.
about of arrangement, right? Because if you had 4 penises on the wall, clearly that's a time to pan. Let me finish.
Thank
Let
you.
him finish.
If there's 4 penises on the wall, that's when you start to panic. But if they're drawn in like a cool Voltron, like they connect Voltron style and they form like a bigger dude, like obviously you're going to be like, wow, that's like a lot of these rules are suspended if they are beautifully drawn
Yes.
numbers
No,
that
I
people
see,
like
I
appreciate.
worry
If
about
it becomes
that,
like
right?
a mandala and people are adding the penises
Oh
to
God,
in
an
beautiful
infinite
geometric rounded
fractal
shapes.
of penis.
If you had 6 penises,
I'd go to the doctor.
but the school had been open for 60 years, and
wow.
each of the peni represented a different decade of the school's history.
That's
Like in,
was
a, like
dressed-
in a uniform or a clothing style. that
Era
represents-
appropriate, some
right.
mascot. I don't know what the mascot of the school is. Maybe
Yeah,
Maybe a
man.
speech bubble
Something
encapsulating a
like
description of a
hang
news
loose.
event.
like a,
You-
yeah,
groove,
yeah, yeah.
a
You know.
groovy penis for the 70s.
groovy, man.
Yeah.
So if I see that, and I'm like coming in as the vice principal of discipline or whatever, and I
Yeah.
see that at Clarkson Community College, where I myself attended, and I see those 60 years of history represented on the wall, then for
Touching.
me, I'm like, well, I'm touched. You know what I mean?
beautiful
I'm like,
tribute.
that's kind of
Well,
beautiful.
And what's beautiful about that too is your assumption if only one goes up a decade, someone's chosen, whether probably not by staff, but by the student body. There's someone because you can't just go in there and doodle it on your own because people will see it and be like, that does not capture this decade at all. Why'd you do that?
No.
You need somebody who rises, not elected as a student body leader, but rather a naturally born leader to draw the penis on the wall.
So if you do 6 historical ones, you're fine. Now 7, that to me, guys, starts to feel claustrophobic. I'm starting to feel like, where do I look where I'm not looking at a wiener now?
There's
at that point.
The toilet could be perfectly clean, could be spotless, like you don't see them anymore, perfectly clean. Which for me is like green flag, time to go. I'm not going to have to do any sanitary work myself in order to make this thing romp ready. But I shut the door and there's 7 fucking pink wieners in there, man. I can't stay. That's too much for me.
Yeah.
That's too
7
much.
feels
I'm freaking out.
judgmental.
7 feels, yeah, 7 feels predatory. Here's the thing that this is a really important point now that we've reached here at 8, because the science tells us that the reason phone numbers are 7 digits long,
Yeah.
they used to be, 7 is about the biggest number that we can hold in our hand. Like 7 digits in our
In our
brain,
head.
rather. Not in our head. In my hand, I can hold lots, but
Yeah,
in my head,
I've seen you hold all kinds of big
Lots of
numbers in
numbers,
your
all
hand.
kinds
You're
of
very
numbers.
strong.
in my high school graduation photos, I was holding big 99.
Yeah,
I
I've
was
seen
looking,
it. Yeah.
looking cool. So,
Well,
What? Sorry, what, Griffin? Did you have something? I heard a little noise, like
I sneezed.
it was a sneeze.
Yeah, a little one. What were you saying?
I don't know.
About 8? So you're saying we can't hold 8 numbers?
Is once you can't count that number anymore. So like 8 through infinity, or I think is like can't even process. It's all penises. Like you can't distinguish at that point between 8 and 9. The mind can't distinguish.
That's fair, because then the kid comes back from a bathroom break. It's been 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And the teacher's like, you were gone a really long time. And they're like, I got lost in the penises. I was trying to hold them all 8 in my mind at the same time, and I simply couldn't. And I just lost time in there, and I can't remember math now.
Sorry, Griffin, go ahead.
No, it sounds like you had a thing.
No. At what point? Please ask.
At what point does it cross back over?
Sure.
At what point does it cross it into the point of like genuine fear? Like unable to comprehend how this many discrete penises have fit. If there's 900 penises on the wall, you walk in and be like, Principal Wilson, you better get in here.
But think about it like a horror movie. Help written on the wall once. Oh no, help written 100 times around the room.
No fucking way, man.
But if there's 900 penises of various shapes and sizes,
like a
artistic
wallpaper?
styles, on the ceiling, suddenly it's like they should have sent a poet,
the Dicktine Chapel.
At that point, you're like, you're not going to paint over it. That's a good. The other number, and this one you need a graphing calculator for. And it is size dependent.
Okay.
But there's a number at which you draw so many penises that it becomes a sort of camouflage.
Yeah.
Where you can draw them on yourself,
Yeah.
draw them on the walls. It's like razzle dazzle.
Yeah.
Where the patterns you can no longer discern as penises.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter as much.
I would say there's also a tipping point where there are so many penises on the wall that they stop being individuals and becomes one battalion of penis, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, that's the army of penis, right? When it moves from like 5 people, 20 people to just one army,
Yeah.
right? There would be a saturation point reached where all you think about is like a singular unit of units.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
So
I think 4 is the lowest number.
4 and 8 are bad.
If it hits 4, you need to take action.
Yeah. 4, 1, 2, 3.
If it goes past 4, don't take action and wait until it gets
at
back
5.
to 8. At that point, you got to take action again.
Did we like 6?
6 was good because that could be a historic.
You're right.
You can also
If
say,
it's 6, it could be a historic thing.
Historical
Six
thing.
is great
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
There's a rhyming thing
And then
there.
7 is lucky. And then
close
8,
to God.
8 is where things start to get pretty thorny.
Yeah.
So
So
4,
that is
blank, 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 8 through
And you need to
8.99.
move the second you see 4, because if you take your time getting your bucket and magic eraser and you come back in, there's 5, you missed your window.
You missed your window.
And if they're drawn on the windows.
If they're drawn
That's
on the
another
windows,
problem,
that's a
because
tough
people can
one.
see that from outside.